with this mistrial, this is moving into some rare territory and something most attorneys don't see very often, if at all.
KTTC's Holden Kruzmark spoke with a legal expert to dig deeper into what happens next with multiple mistrials. He joins us now in the studio with the answer. Holden.
Well, Tom, Vivian, it's a complicated process, so I decided to dig deeper and talk to Meshbesher and Spence law partner Zach Bauer, a legal expert independent from the case. He says in his experience it would be rare and uncommon to see a case tried more than 3 times. With the second mistrial declared in the Alexander Weiss case, its future is now in the hands of the prosecutor, whether they want to go through a third trial.
There's really no limits to the number of times it can be retried.
Bauer says mistrials happen about 1 in every 12 or 15 jury trials, especially when you're dealing with high-level felony offenses.
For the defendant, a mistrial basically means you kind of go back to square one.
With a jury, they must be unanimous in their decision to either convict or acquit, which means how the jury is split could help decide whether they go for another retrial.
Oftentimes there'll be feedback that both the defense attorney may get as well as the prosecutor may get on whether or not that jury was split 10-2 to convict or 6-6, and that may sometimes lead to decisions being made by the state as to whether or not they truly believe that they could get a different outcome if they try it again.
While the jury split is not known at this time, Bauer says it isn't a surprise a case like this would have a hard time reaching a unanimous decision.
And when you have cases that involve things like self-defense, like firearms and Second Amendment rights, racial issues as well, those are all different things that 12 of us in a vacuum sometimes can't agree upon, let alone in a situation where you've got a person standing trial that they could face prison time on.
According to Weiss's defense attorney, the maximum time he could be facing is 15 years in prison.
Sometimes I'm assuming they will get input from the victim's family on what their wishes may be, but they have the sound discretion to make the decision of whether they're going to go ahead and retry a case or whether they decide that they don't believe that even if the evidence were to come in perfectly based upon their first 2 experiences, that would likely change the outcome.
And with the third trial potentially on the horizon, that means another group of jurors would have to be found, something Bauer says shouldn't be too much of a problem given Rochester's size.
It may be more difficult to find a fair and impartial jury moving forward with the amount of media attention that this case has gotten, but typically you're able to find 12 or 13 people that either don't know enough about the case or, an alternative, can set aside the feelings they do know about the case and deliberate thoughtfully and truthfully.
From today's decision, the prosecution will have about 30 days to decide whether or not to go through with the third trial.